Hi everyone, welcome back to Data Disco. Now this week I promised you a glittered look and that is exactly the look that you have. I am doing a little take on a classic defined eye and a bold lip and creating something a bit sparkly for the festive season. So if you'd like to see how I created this look, then stay tuned. This is my makeup look for today. As you can see, it isn't really a makeup look. I hardly have anything on. And you know, you just have those days where you're like, you know, I'm just gonna put a little bit of base on, a little bit of skincare, balm my lips, and don't really fancy putting anything on my eyes. That was kind of the day that I've had today. And I'm actually giving my lashes a bit of a break because I had an amazing lash lift a couple of times over the summer. And I'm not due to have another one for another couple of weeks. So when I'm kind of not going anywhere, I've not got any meetings, I do just like to leave my lashes natural and put a little bit of growth serum on just to kind of make them look a little bit healthier again. I do have a bit of a brow on and some balmed lips, but aside from that, like practically nothing. I'm starting from scratch today. So what I'm going to begin with is the base for the eyes. So we're going to go have a little bit of a gold moment today. And because I'm going to be using a glitter, I thought I'd go in with a velvet shadow stick from NARS. This is the colour CORU. And I wanted to begin with a cream shadow because it'll just kind of grip the powder shadow that I'm going to put on in a second, and also give a little bit of grip for the glitter. So I'm just going to run this over the lid and up into the socket. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Aucoin Prismatic palette. A friend of mine gave me this the other week. You'll actually see him on the channel in the next couple of weeks. And I don't know whether this is limited edition or not. It may or may not be, but they're really kind of beautiful iridescent shadows. And I'm just going to use this, the gold one in the middle, which is called Illusion, with my finger, and I'm going to press that on top of the NARS shadow stick. If you have watched one of the Data Disco videos before, you'll know that I'm a bit of a fan using these kind of iridescent shimmery textures with my finger. And this palette certainly is a palette that you do need your fingers for because the shadows are a little bit powdery. They do have quite a lot of fallout. So just using my finger just to press that on top of the CORU shadow stick, I think is definitely the best way to work with this particular shadow. It just kind of grips the pigment, and when you press it in, it then releases that kind of iridescent, pearlescent finish. So I'm not going to kind of do too much in terms of a base on the eyes because we are just literally going to cover it in glitter. So I think those two products for my base will do just fine. So that's kind of my base. Now we're going to move on to the eyeliner. So when I do my eyeliner, I like to do it in a few different steps. So I first begin with a Kohl pencil. This is just the dark black Kohl liner from NARS. It's called Minorgue. And I like to sketch the shape of the wing first. So the best way to do this is if you look straight ahead into a mirror and you tilt your head back slightly, then what that does is it kind of exposes the whole of your lid, and then it makes it a lot easier to sketch the shape of the liner. Now with my eyes, I like to really accentuate the almond shape. So looking into a mirror, what I do is I imagine that I have an imaginary line stretching all the way from the underneath of the eye all the way to the eyebrow, and I kind of follow that line and that angle when I start to build my wing out. I don't know whether you can see that, but literally where the edge of my eye stops, I start at this point to curve the eye pencil upwards, following that exact angle from underneath the eye. Another way to do this is you can actually look straight ahead and kind of pencil the line in first and then join it up to the eye, whichever way you prefer. But my top tip is to actually keep the eye open and looking straight into a mirror when you're doing liner like this. A lot of women and guys tend to drag the eye like this, and what happens is when it pings back you get a bit of a concertina effect. So it's always best to just work with your exact eye shape open, and then that will really help you to create the wing that suits your eye shape and is almost bespoke to you. And then what I like to do is I almost like to set the Kohl pencil with a black shadow. Now this is a black eyeshadow from the NARS Shadow Duo Pandora, and I'm using a Sephora brush. I don't actually know. Oh, it's actually a pointed brow brush, but I love using this for liner because it's really, really precise. And what I do is I just follow the shape of that line that I've already created with the powder. And when I kind of layer my eyeliner like this, I just find that it lasts a lot longer, which is what we want, right? Because this is a day to disco look after all, and we're going to want this to last all evening. I also find that doing liner this way and using the shadow on top just kind of softens it a little bit and just makes it look a little bit more kind of sexy and slightly diffused at the edges. So this is the final step, I promise, in doing the eyeliner. So you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I love to do my eyeliner, and it's the way that I get my liner to last throughout the night and throughout the day. So I'm going to actually go over the shadow now with a gel liner. This is just from Me Cosmetics. It's the black. There's a lot of brands that do these kind of eyeliners, but I think just find one that's nice and opaque and doesn't smudge. And what I'm going to do is just build that on top of the powder and Kohl liner and just really kind of sharpen the shape a little bit. Don't worry too much about the outer wings because we're going to go in again when we've kind of done this step with a Q-tip and just really kind of sharpen and neaten up those lines. And now for the cleaning up part. So even if you've made an absolute mess of the wings and they look a little bit blunt or just a little bit not perfect, then I like to use a little bit of eye cream on one of these really, really fine Q-tips. Now I buy mine from Muji, and any makeup artist knows that these are the most essential piece of kit in your makeup bag. And what I'm going to do is just use the Q-tip just to really, really sharpen and refine that wing. Okay, so that's my wings done. Now I like mine quite thick, so you don't have to do them this thick if you don't want to, but I just find that this just really kind of suits my eye shape. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of mascara. So I'm just going in with a little bit of the Me Cosmetics Show Stopping Lash Lover, and I did previously curl my lashes, so this is just to give the lashes a coat of colour before I apply the falsies. Now actually, before I apply the false lashes, there's one very, very, very important step that I missed out, and that is glitter. So on the back of my hand I have some of the Kryolan mixing gel. It's just this one here, Kryolan multi-gel, and I'm going to use some of the Kryolan polyester glitter, and this is gold. And I'm simply just going to mix this with the gold glitter on the back of my hand and apply it to the lid. So even though I've done my liner, I've done the base, this gel actually really grabs hold of the glitter, so you shouldn't have any problem with fallout. I know we don't want to mess that liner up. So what I'm going to do is just literally take it on the brush and just press the glitter into the lid. And now I'm going to apply some lashes. These are the Ardell Demi Wispies. They're actually one of my favourite lashes ever because they go out at the edge. So when you're wearing a winged liner look like this, they are literally perfect because they really do help elongate the eye and really exaggerate that wing. So while the glue's drying on the eyes, I'm going to go in with some of my fave concealer. This is the Laura Mercier Perfect Fusion. And I'm going to use this under the eyes. And on the skin, I'm going to touch up with some of my NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in Fiji. And I'm just literally going to apply it just down the centre of the face where my makeup has worn off throughout the day. Just with a foundation brush. So I often find that when you're reapplying foundation on top of foundation, I mean, let's get real, you know, you have literally finished a really, really busy, long day in the office. You might even be getting ready in the office to go out for the disco. And you don't want to kind of go through the hassle of like removing your whole base again. So what I do is I use a little bit of spray. I actually sprayed my skin with some of the Mario Badescu aloe and green tea spray. And then when you're actually working your foundation back into the skin, then do it on a brush and just kind of like press it into the skin like this. And then what happens is it doesn't actually move the foundation that's been sitting on the skin during the day. It just kind of really works it all into each other. And then you don't get any kind of weird streaking or any kind of sticking in pores. Now I'm going to go in with one of my forever favourites. This is NARS Laguna, and because we're going to be accessorising this dramatic eyeliner and gold gilded glitter lid with a red lip, I just want to warm up the skin a little bit. I don't want to kind of add too much colour with a blush. So I think a bronzer for this look is literally going to be all the warmth and colour that I need on the skin. Now for a bit of skin lights. This is the Julia Carter highlighting and illuminating palette, and this is one of my favourite cream highlighting palettes. You can get it from a store in London called Pam, Precious About Makeup, and I use this so much in my personal work and love it just for giving the skin a little bit of a dewy, creamy, plump highlight. So just using my finger, I'm just gonna press it into the top of the cheekbones, just really kind of blending it into the bronzer. And now for the final touch, we are going to go in with a gorgeous red lip, and the colour we're going to use is Disco Red in Jerry. So before I apply Jerry, I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of the NARS Jungle Red Lip Liner just to outline the lips and give the lips a little bit more dimension. And now for the final touch, this is Disco Red in Jerry. Now you don't need to use a lip liner with your Disco Red if you don't want. They don't bleed. It's a very long wearing non-transfer formula. I've decided to use one with mine today just because I wanted to create a bit more of a fuller finish with the lipstick. And of course, if you want a bit more of a kind of sharp, defined edge, you prefer to use a lip liner, then definitely go ahead and use one. Otherwise, just go straight on with the colour. So there it is. That is this week's Day to Disco look. And I promised you glitter, and glitter you definitely have. Now, I really love this look. I think it would look equally as amazing with a nude lip, something like Elvira or Gainer from the Disco Lipsticks range. That being said, I I'm just so in love with this colour. If you've not bought a disco red in Cherry yet, then you really, really need to, because it will be one of those reds that will be your forever colour. We had some amazing feedback about this colour when we did Stylist Live a couple of weeks ago, and customers just absolutely loved, number one, how long it lasted, but number two, just the amount of customers that were so different in skin tone, hair colour, eye colour, and Cherry looked absolutely incredible on every single one of them. It really is one of those classic blue based reds that just makes everyone look amazing. So if you've not tried Cherry, then please do try it. Maybe even try it with a gold glittery eye like I have today. I think one thing with this look, if you are gonna use it with or wear it with quite a full-on eye as well, then keep the skin quite natural. You want to keep it all in balance. As you can see, I just used a little bit of concealer and a bit of bronzer on my skin today, nothing too much, and that way you can really kind of get away with playing up both your eyes and your lips. So hope you've enjoyed that. And stay tuned for next week's Day to Disco. I actually have a special guest number one, who is going to be appearing on the channel, and we had so much fun filming this video. I think you'll really, really love it. So check that out next Friday on the Makeup 54 Instagram TV and YouTube. I will see you then. Bye.